got a lot of people on heroes that they're going to be very, very happy that they managed to get through the draft.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that they last pick Alchemist. I was definitely not expecting that. Of all the heroes, I actually thought that Viper would have been a phenomenal pick for them, especially considering they didn't have a mech buyer up until that point, and they needed something to potentially go mid. But we'll see how the lanes shape up here from both teams. I think the panel was kind of spot on. Just wait out the mech timing on Vega, go for the 5-man Dota that they are very, very good at, and then for 4CL, can you get anything done with that clockwork? Can you find any pickoffs with an Ember and a Disruptor? Because the kill potential on 4CL is very, very high in the early game.
It certainly is. One thing as well that I wanted to talk to you about, the fact that Vega did decide to run this Sven, but you look at 4Clover's lineup, and before that Sven gets a BKB, they've got a lot of ways of controlling and kiting him, and especially the fact that Vega, they are running a 3 melee lineup here. They're going to want to try and run at 4Clovers, but with the paralyzing cast, with the glimpses, with the clockwork cogs, it's going to be hard to do so in the earlier portions of the game, surely.
Diving in is something you're always going to have to be super careful of. Like, Clockwork is one of the best heroes in the game at stopping heroes like Night Stalker, Darkseer, and Sven from just running rampant in a team fight. Because you just put them inside of the cogs, you have your battery assault going. It's very easy to follow up with something like a Death Ward, for example. If that Witch Doctor is able to hit an early 6, I can very easily see 4CL turning any aggressive dive that Vega try to go for, but it just depends on if that's the kind of fights they're going to be taking. I think Vega are a bit disciplined, and they understand how the lineup is supposed to function around the mech timing. So if they just go for normal 5-man, then Bambo is going to be seen more as an initiator than a counter-initiator. So we'll just have to see how they decide to take the engagements.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how disciplined both teams are. We did see, of course, in that last series, 4Clovers proving to be very careful about the plays that they decided to make. And, well, that's, of course, going to be exactly what you need to do against a lineup as aggressive as Vega. Change now, just onto solo. The rest of 4Clovers not quite in the range to follow it through. But lane-wise, I mean, who's coming out on top here? Who's found the lanes that they wanted?
I'm actually, I'm kind of liking the aggressive lane coming out here from Vega. If you look at Witch Doctor and Disruptor, these heroes, they don't really do a lot of damage. I mean, yeah, you have level 1 Thunderstrike on EGM, but Ember needs levels before he starts really having any influence as a farming core. So if you look at his base stats, like he's got 1 armor, 500 HP. Sven has 650 health, 5 armor, and 64 base damage. Like, even if they have double range support, it's very, very difficult, I think, for 4CL to find any breathing room in the safe lane.
It's going to be interesting to see who gets out on top in terms of farm as well. We saw in the first few series today, both just running the safe lane as in the safe lane. This time having them head against each other in this bottom lane. And see who finds the edge. I mean, the other lanes, of course, your mid lane, Nikwa having to deal up with this Viper, 7 for 4 at the moment, compared to 7 for 0. So Nikwa's finding stuff, but he's getting fairly low here. Does have that bottom lane. There's your first blood. They moved in Vega, the aggressive tri-lane, living up to its name, and getting themselves that first starting kill.
This is a very, very troublesome situation for 4CL, because they don't have a direct answer to this aggression. I guess they could maybe send 1 support top, but then at that point you're kind of sacking Pycat. So they need to find a way to give him a little bit of space to start hitting some creeps.
Oh, and Nikwa. Oh, he's going to get chased down here by this Night Stalker. He has got a second Void. And Viper's not really in a position to follow this one up. I think Solar's going to stick around by the looks of it there and try to be as annoying as he can. Just forcing Nikwa right back. Nikwa does have a couple of bottle charges and goes to the acid spray. And will stop Solar from pursuing it.
This lane's already hard enough for him. Like Viper versus Alchemist, that is definitely not a favorable lane for the Alch, especially since Corrosive. Like, standing in the acid spray normally is seen as a bad thing, but for Viper you can stand in it and deal damage to the Alchemist as well. So it's not like a total net loss for him. And CSing with Nether Toxin and creeps on low HP, it's very similar to a Shadow Fiend, where whenever you have a matchup mid, you want the hero to be able to constantly deny the Alch's farm under acid spray, and Viper can do that very easily.
Oh, so far in this bottom lane, they may have lost a hero, but they're still finding the farm here on Pycat. Well, now there's going to be a bit going in from Vega. They try and find him. They've got the Storm Hammer coming down. The cask will be there to try and buy them some time to get Pycat out of there, but Pycat looks to be in a lot of trouble, and he will go down. Solo very low himself. Has to get himself away from this Witch Doctor. Pops the charges. Looks like he will just be able to survive on 15 HP. But it's another kill here for Vega on this bottom lane, and this time is an even bigger one as they take down that Ember Spirit.
It's just a perfect showing of how much stronger the heroes are from Vega in the early couple of levels. If Ember is like 3 or 4, maybe they're able to turn that fight and actually get a counter kill, or maybe even kill 2 if he hits his decent chains. But as it stands right now, they don't have the damage, and they don't have any control either, because right now EGM only being level 2, that means he doesn't even have Glimpse skilled yet. And if he goes back for Glimpse, which he's going to need during the mid game, then he's not leveling Thunderstrike, which means the safe lane doesn't have any damage. So they're going to need Bambo to bail them out. Like, that's the hero that you're looking to right now for 4CL and saying, okay, this guy has got to come in big for us.
I mean, that's the hero I want to talk to you about now as well. We're seeing him on the top lane against Mag. And, I mean, he's a melee hero up against the Darkseer, Iron Shell spamming. But CS-wise, he's doing fine. He's on 20 for 5 against the 23 for 1. He's keeping right up with this Darkseer. Yeah, it's a pretty old matchup, actually. We used to see this quite often a couple of patches ago, just the 1v1 Clockwork DS. And normally, the Darkseer is said to have a minor advantage, but there is always solo kill potential of the Clockwork if the Darkseer ever gets too far out of position, and you land a nice hook shot into a Cogs and a Battery Assault. Oh, Stormhammer down onto Pycat, and in comes the side of Vega, moving in onto the Ember Spirit, looking to kill him for a second time. The Voodoo Restoration's doing a bit, keeping Pycat alive. In fact, they might find the kill first. They do. They get the kill on the Night Stalker. Pycat, he's still living in. Is he not going to go down there? The Stormhammer will finish him off. I mean, the support's nearly keeping him alive there. But nonetheless, for Clovers, they found themselves 2 kills in return for the one that the Vega took. It looks like, alright, could be in trouble now with the Thunderstrike down on him. And down with the Slayer. He's going to become the Slayer here, and that is a 3rd kill here for this lane. So they may have got the Ember once more, but EGM and Saxa just joining forces and destroying the side of Vega. After having seen that fight go down the way it did, I'm wondering if it would have been better to just go 1-1-1 on the Wyvern and have like 1 value point into Cold Embrace, because I don't think 80 extra damage on your Splinter Blast outweighs being able to heal a hero in that type of situation. So say he puts it on solo, and instead of the Thunderstrike killing him with 1 auto attack, he lives through like maybe 3 or 4 more autos. That can be a really big difference, and maybe giving away 2 or even 3 kills in this case as 4CL just completely wipe Vega's tri-lane off, and that's a big win for them for sure. One thing we're going to note as well, whilst that was going down in the mid lane, Viper did get a kill onto the Alchemist, and Viper's still with the edge in that lane, 24 for 14 against the 18 for 3 of Nikwa. So things certainly looking a bit tough for this Alki. It's just about to touch onto level 6, so it'll be a little bit harder for Vega to go on him without putting more resources towards the mid. Yeah, this is one nice thing about the Alchemist in this game. If you look at Vega's lineup, they kind of lack burst until the Sven has items, right? So yeah, you're going to get a Void and a Stormhammer and maybe a Splinter Blast, but that's the extent of it. If you can live through that, then Viper is all damage over time. I like this as well. Look at this. Bottom lane, Bambo coming in, picks up a haste rune, TP straight down, then he's got the hook shot. Level 7 on this boy. Vega, if they overextend, he's going to be there with a turn, and here we go with a haste rune moving forward. Bambo trying to look to catch them out. The hook shot's across with the Cog. Onto 2. EGM will still go down to the Splinter Blast. There'll be a Cold Embrace on back, keeping it alive, but the change from Pycat, burning them down. It doesn't look like it's enough, though, as 4 Clovers have to get themselves the hell out of there. The wall was dropped as Darkseer was there with the rotation as well. And it is, in fact, 4 Clovers there, coming out on the back foot of that fight, even with that clockwork rotation. Well, imagine if he wasn't there. That would have been a total disaster if he hadn't landed that hook. So instead of thinking about it as the kills they didn't get, think about it as the kills they didn't give away, I suppose. And unfortunately for Pycat, he's still kind of underleveled right now. His Flame Guard got eaten very quickly, and he wasn't able to really do much in terms of damage. But that's kind of what we were saying, you know? This Disruptor and this Witch Doctor, they need level 6. And Saxa made his way top just to soak lane a little bit. He's now level 5, so he's kind of recovering in that regard. But the Disruptor is just barely level 4 at 7 minutes. So if anything, outside of the Clockwork's influence in this game, obviously we're going to be having Nikwa farm. That's kind of his job as the Alk. But you need the supports on 4CL to get their ultimates. That's the next step for 4CL to actually stop Vega from just running into them as 5 soon when that mech timing comes out. This Witch Doctor needs to be very careful up top as well. There was a Wyvern hanging around and could have gone in with the Arctic Burn if that Saxa came out too far. But he's playing it safe at the moment. Just trying to find himself that level 6. As Pasha, of course, with the rotation to top on this Sven, looking to find farm in a bit of a safer situation. 4 Clovers, maybe looking to do something mid lane as we've got the backup ready and waiting. Bambo still has that hook shot back online. It's going to be Medallion the first time for this Alchemist, so this is the kind of build we're going to see Nikwa go for. It's a really strong starting build for a couple of reasons. One, Alchemist has terrible base armor. Medallion gives you 7. So you're basically sitting there at 10 armor with treads. You have 1000 HP at 8 minutes, and you have obviously the chemical rage regen. So you're pretty hard to kill. The other reason is having the
the mana regen inside of Chemical Rage, since it gives you a flat amount of regen, that percentage bonus makes it so after you hit 11, you pretty much don't even need your bottle anymore. Like, you pop Chemical Rage on cooldown, you get more than enough mana back to be able to spam Acid Spray, and it just means you never have to go to base. So this build is a very well-rounded one. We saw it actually at the Major. I think Miracle was the one who was doing it more often than not.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of just be the standard thing, and I think a couple of Chinese teams also did this before in the past as well. But it's a very solid all-around build.
Okay, we're 3 for 5 at the moment. Top of the farm is Nikwa, now breaking away with that Alchemist. There's still no one on the Viper keeping up, and if they can keep this momentum, Vega, get to that point where they're ready to group up. Viper in terms of his item progression, obviously got just... Okay, it looks like he's going to go for maybe the S and Y straight up after that Treads Aquila, as he has picked up a second belt of strength here in his build. And yeah, of course, just leaving the mech duties up to this Darkseer. Mag already starting to work on that one with the headdress and making his way towards that buckler. But I guess once they get the mech on that Darkseer, we might see Vega be very happy in terms of just grouping up and ready to go with the push and getting the Viper involved in these fights.
I think that's kind of what Vega want, but nice.
Okay, yeah, the hook shot as well. The solo is there. They need some backup with the concoction coming out to no one. There's a cold embrace. Is it enough to keep him alive? And it looks like it just might. No one's going to stay alive, and he's going to get himself out as well with the war cry. Stormhammer out to Nico, and Nature got strict. Moving forward, passing out the Splinter Blast is slow as well. Nico's held in place, gets the concoction out, but he falls. The Witch Doctor on the sidelines going down as well, and they're not done. Vega, they're looking for more. Moving in onto EGM. There's in fact a buyback here from Bambo, and that is the signal for Vega to get themselves the hell out. And the buyback may save the life here of this Disruptor, but he's not going to find anything in return, and the flare just not enough to take down Sherman the Slayer.
Had that been any other hero on the side of Vega, I think they would have killed him. I think Viper is like hands down the hardest hero to take down because he has max points and a corrosive skin. On Strength Treads, he has 1200 HP and he still has 10 armor. I mean, of course, having Shoma there to throw out the Cold Embrace, that definitely saved his life. But I think any other hero in that situation, maybe the Sven lives too. I guess he has that Warcry armor on top of it, which I think he also put on.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he put on the Viper as well, so it's very, very difficult to kill in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, there's an admirable buyback there from Bambo too. There's a couple of low HP opponents.
That buyback actually hurts him a lot, though.
Yeah,
that's something I didn't keep in mind.
It was a big risk, and it didn't pay off.
Well, it wasn't really...
a medium risk.
It was like a no-reward buyback. That's the thing, because he already used Hookshot to initiate onto the Viper in the first place. So when he buys back, he knows that he can't go in. He's just buying back to save his teammates, so they don't actually just get doped.
High cat. It's going to be okay here, but Nighttime will get called out. Solo trying to move forward. There's going to be a concoction. Let's see if Four Clovers can jump back in on this one, but now not with the Viper there and the Wyvern as well. Vega feeling very strong in the mid lane. And not feeling vulnerable at all. In fact, Bambo's just headed back up to top to continue to get these levels. Does have the hook shot ready and just trying to find that gold so he can get that blade melt done here on the clockwork.
He's still quite a bit away from it. The unfortunate part is he's not going to have his blade mail by the time that Mag has his mech out. So I think he actually, he just bought it on the courier. So 12 minutes mech, give or take, for Mag. That means that if they want to, they can start just going for 5-man. They have 3 points into the Warcry on Pasha, and they have the mech armor on top of that. So fighting into what Vega have currently is nothing short of terrifying.
Solo with the wraparound. Bambo needs to be careful. The silence coming in before he can get the cogs out. Bambo should be in a lot of trouble here. Can he get himself out? No, he can't. The God Strength right-clicks are passing too much. And now the Winter's Curse. Everything getting thrown down onto Sax. It's a second kill there for the Sven on the top lane.
Is under attack.
And Four Clovers just throwing heroes to the side of Vega, and Vega just eating them right up. No one, maybe a little bit too deep in, caught out by the rest of the side of Four Clovers. Fairly tanky, not tanky enough to withstand that damage. It actually does get a kill on the way down as he takes down EGM. So 3 for 1 across the map. They do find the Viper, but at a pretty hefty cost there, Four Clovers.
Yeah, I think that Vega are feeling pretty confident right now. Like, regardless of whether or not Forceal have tier 1 standing, Vega knows that if they group up and they fight as 5, unless they make some like horrible mistake, it shouldn't be so hard for them to just slow siege down the tier 1s. I guess the X factor now for Forceal.
High cat. He's found Mag, and Mag's going to do the smart thing. Yeah.
He can't get that
straight
kill.
out.
But as far as Forceal's options right now, like they still have Hookshot into a potential Static Storm, and now Death Ward also available on Zoxa. He is level 7. So they have their combination about the same time that Vega have their mech. So we're going to get to see which is stronger. Is the combo from Vega and their 5-man stronger than a potential good ulti from EGM and then a Death Ward to follow it up from Zoxa?
But at the moment, certainly Vega, we talked about the play style in the first game that they had today, and it's a similar one at the moment. 30 minutes, just getting that push on. And the fact that we are seeing them pretty much take these fights for the most part without the Darkseer. Yeah. I mean, you add Mag into this as well, and
he's the highest farmer. Like, he's just
so hard
creeps.
to fight into. Yeah. I mean, here we have it.
The panel talked about the Night Stalker with the Darkseer combination earlier and how strong it can be, just walking in. Like, double Ion Shell on, like, Pasha and Solo, that's pretty hard to fight.
I mean, Bambo's got a hook shot here. I don't know if he wants to go in. Maybe with the TP they will. Is he going to look to jump in? They're trying to see if they can get the vision on someone, and they do. EGM will get the glimpse back up to Noah, but now Noah just throws down. That's a nice static storm. And the Death Ward as well from section from the sidelines. The Cold Embrace saving no one. You want to start hitting someone else with that Death Ward. Sonny's not doing anything to him. Noah will turn him at the moment. Then the wall comes out. Onto the Stormhammer as well. Triple kill for Mag. They do manage to get the Witch Doctor out, but that was an absolute nightmare for the side of Four Clovers. And, I mean, the Cold Embrace, it came down onto the Viper, and he didn't take the Death Ward off him. It was just a wasted ult.
No one else is in range. That's the problem.
I don't know, man. There was
Solo
people to the
was dead
side.
no matter what, right? The supports were sitting behind the Viper. So they throw out a Cold Embrace. The Wyvern is too far to target the ward on. Solo is dead regardless. We're going to get a chance to watch it again either way. They're going to kill this tower, but we'll get a chance to watch it again. So if you watch what happens, the Sven actually walks into the Static Storm. The Viper ulti gets juked right there.
Look, he could have gone to the right.
He could have, he could have put it on Pasha, but it's like maybe 2 or 3 seconds to death ward. And at this point, if you watch the stun timing from Pasha, he waits until the curse ends. So when his stun is in midair and hits, it actually deals full damage to every single hero. So the panel was talking about sometimes how Wyvern ulti can be a detriment because you don't actually use your skills at the right time, as in everyone else takes mitigated damage from the curse, 70%.
Yeah.
But he waited at a perfect time.
Yes.
And just Stormhammer, full damage, all heroes just massacre.
I mean, we were talking just before that how they hadn't fought with Mag. That's what happens when he turns up. He gets a triple kill, he gets an incredible multi-man wall, and it's just all too much for the side of Four Clovers. 15 for 5 now after that one. I mean, certainly not out of it, but they're certainly not in the position they wish to be. 7.5k now behind the team of Vega.
I think the biggest thing to note for this game so far is that Vega opted to go aggressive, and just holding Pycat down a little bit. Like, that's enough, because Ember is that type of hero that against 5-man Dota, you need to be playing from ahead if you want to try to go in. Otherwise, you're kind of playing the role of an anti-mage, where you're kind of farming. You can deal damage here and there, but he doesn't even have a single point into Sleight of Fist yet. So how are you supposed to walk into a Night Stalker, a Viper, a Sven, potentially with Ion Shell on top of that? Like, it's just so hard for him to actually get into these fights. So for a while, I think 4CL are going to have to play Space Creators for him to get some items. But I don't think Vega are going to give him that kind of wiggle room.
I see Vega now. They did smoke up towards the bottom, seeing if they could catch anyone out on their own. They'll find the tower nonetheless. And in fact, the side of Four Clovers just looking up towards the top lane. Bambo is closing in on that blade mail, but it's not, of course, going to be as quick as he would have liked to have found it. And Vega certainly in this driving seat. Pasha now coming up to 2k. God, I imagine on top of the drums. With this amount that he's saving up, is he going to go straight for the blink hit?
Yeah, I think Blink is definitely the play. When you already have a good lineup for fighting, adding Fetch on top of their monstrously good 5-man potential and just overall ability to constrict the map, I think it synergizes very well with what their team is built for, which is take all the outer tier towers and then control the game. Because having that Blink Sven giving you that extra pick-off potential means that the Night Stalker is going to be even more scary to deal with. You pop that darkness, you can't see anything, you don't know if the Sven's coming, you don't know if the Night Stalker's there. There's just a lot of things that 4CL are going to have to worry about throughout the mid-late game if they can't start getting themselves a foothold in the game.
Right, there we have it. Blink now on the Sven. The next fight, again, if they hit that combo with the Vacuum or the Winter's Curse, Four Clovers are going to be very, very scared. And Nighttime has been summoned here by Vega. Now fairly close here to the side of Four Clovers. Four Clovers just keeping it safe in the lane. Vega sticking together as a group in the jungle. And I guess the question is going to be really what time are we going to see maybe the side of Vega look towards Roshan?
Their team is okay at doing Roshan right now, but I think you maybe want lifesteal on the Sven. Like maybe he goes for BKB, maybe he goes back for like Mask of Madness or Dominator or something like that. I know that EG were really favoring Dominator at the Frankfurt Major, but we'll see what Pasha opts for. But once you get to that point, you get the 3 points and a Warcry already going for you, got mech, you got good sustain. They can pretty much take it whenever they want.
Oh, looking at this Alchemist, so it is pretty much this proper fighting fighting build here as he finished off the Solar Crest and then went straight for the Blink Dagger. So,
yeah, this is literally the build we saw at the Major.
Yeah, this is the way it's run now.
It's not bad. The only problem with it is, as Alchemist in this game and Witch Doctor, Cold Embrace counters you so hard. Because you can Cold Embrace the stun, it stops all damage from Death Ward, and most of the time 4CL have to go all in on one hero to have enough damage to get a kill. So what happens if that concoction comes out with a Solar Crest onto a target who just gets Cold Embraced? Then your entire damage opening is mitigated. And then you have to rely on like Static Storm damage that's only level 1 against a team that already has Mech and a Viper and 2 Strength heroes. I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling like 4CL have very limited options right now.
Picap, he's trying to find as much farm as he can. He's on 6.5k net worth at the moment. Only a little bit behind the Sven. Of course, top of the board, this Viper, and the fact that they have got this mag, this Darkseer, 8.2k gold. Nearly double that of what the offlaner has, Bambo, for the side of 4 Clovers. Obviously expected on that Darkseer, but Bambo just hasn't really found himself involved in as many engagements as he would have liked to. Only just sitting there with 1 assist at the moment on the board. Just hasn't found the opportunity really to just use the clock to its full force 19 minutes in.
It's a very hard game for Clockwork when you have to be the sole initiator, you know, and you have to go in on a team that is built to 5-man as well. Like Clockwork's the type of hero that if you're having a bad game and you're playing from behind, you're basically hooking in to die. And then you need to hope that your team is able to get something big from your sacrifice. And if they don't, then you're just indefinitely
okay, there's the hook, but it's a little bit off the mark from Bambo.
Yeah.
Okay, Solo, and now Solo. They're going to chasing them down here, but the cogs will be dropped. The rest of Vega is moving in very quickly as well. They want to fight here. And here we have it, surging forward. Can they catch anyone out on the side of 4 Clovers? It looks like well, EGM's going to be the one to go.
Yep.
Pasha just chopping through him there with a hammer.
The warding right now from Vega is superb.
You've got to run on 4 Clovers.
Yeah.
And Saxa, well, he didn't run quick enough. Gets found out there in the tree line. A second pick off for the boys. High cap. Has he got a remnant out? Yes, he has. It's only to the side though. Max there with a blink vacuum. Oh no, that was not the remnant that Pikeout was looking for. It was of course the only one he had, but they saw him zip to the left straight away. And that's the Ember down as well. Double kill for Solo. And this is kind of getting from bad to worse for 4 Clovers now.
They even buy a Vlad's First on Night Stalker. They did this against Empire earlier when they were playing. It's kind of that confidence sign. Is like, you know what? I'm not going to build towards Ags. With the Vlads, we can do Roshan. We can get the last outer 2 towers, and we can just end the game. Like, they're in a position right now where even though the Alchemist has like a decent net worth, when someone on the other team is out farming your Alch, there is a problem. Like, this hero is supposed to be leading net worth by like multiple thousands at this stage, you know, just because of Grievel's Greed and bounty runes, especially when you put him mid. But when the Alchemist is playing on equal terms to another hero, he's not really that good. It's his ability to farm so quickly that makes him a strong hero. And Vega are showing right now that they got, I mean, a 1v1 hero and Mag who is out farming the Alch and the Viper.
I mean, this is the Roche time now. As you said earlier, the fact that they've got this Vlad's on Solo, they have got that lifesteal here for the Pasha. And, well, can 4 Clovers do anything about it? They're aware of it. They did throw in a rocket flare, but just realizing at this point they just can't fight this. They can't stop it. As much as it hurts them, they've got to let it go. And vacuum. Nearly clipping Bambo, but he is able to TP out from the side. Yeah, Vega will get themselves Roche and get themselves the Aegis.
Alright, no real contention. I don't blame 4CL for not fighting that. I think it's really hard to do much right now. Like, their supports, they're not really the greatest at wave clear, so they can't really split push. Ember and Alch, I guess, are the 2 that you're going to be looking at to try to do that to make some space. Maybe you get a really nice cog where you can like force some of Vega's team inside of your base and then the rest of them out. Just like block the ramp or something like that. But you kind of need a force staff for those types of plays, so I'm wondering what Bambo's next item choice is going to be, if it even gets to that point. I mean, it's 22 minutes in. The Ember has not gone for Boots of Travel and just finishes Battle Fury. Like, normally we see bots and Battle Fury done by around this time.
They're ready here. Pikecat, oh, he's so dead. He is gone, absolutely gone, and well, maybe EGM as well. He's going to look for the TP out. Can they get the vision? Oh, no, they couldn't.
All right.
EGM will just be able to get himself out. And no one. I mean, this guy's fairly aggressive. Maybe a little bit too aggressive. Okay, there's a mag, there's a wall, there's a Guardian Greaves. He's fine for the time being. Bambo is caught in the... In fact, the Blade Mail is actually going to bring no one down for the first time. He's going to go down there, but does have the Aegis, so he's going to be back for round 2.
Actually, that was good. Like, that was good for 4CL.
I was very aggressive play from no one.
Well, getting the Aegis off of him, I think, is enough of a win for 4CL to feel like that was an okay exchange. Obviously, losing Pycat before that is not great, but sometimes against Night Stalker, you just get caught out.
I mean, the tier 2 going in the mid, and Zaxa, well, he moved forward. He's not going to be able to move back with the vacuum into the curse, destroying 4 Clovers. The Stormhammer's there to follow up. 3 are down. Bambo drops the cogs, trying to get himself away, but no one with the BKB just waltzes round them. The slow starting to connect. Pycat is there, holding him back with the chains. But again, Vega just finding these fights. There'll be a buyback on Nikwa. But this is going to be such a hard position for 4 Clovers to try and form a fight from. And, well, Vega are not even going to give them the chance. They just head themselves back out after forcing back the buyback and forcing out the fortification.
That's good enough. Economical damage. And against the Alchemist, too. I mean, look at his net worth. Now 3 heroes on Vega are actually ahead of him. So, again, 4CL clearly in a very rough situation. And this build on Nikwa, this is a build that's supposed to like be controlling some kind of momentum, right? When they built this on Miracle in one of the matches, they were playing against an AM, right? And that's the kind of hero that you want to be able to initiate on, blink, solo kill, punish for being greedy. But this build in this game, like following it up with a blink dagger after the solar crest, I think that's playing a style where you're expecting Vega to kind of split up, you know? This is more of a I want to kill a rat build, not a I want to try to fight his 5 build. I think the solar crest is still fine, but maybe blink was not the best choice? I'm kind of wondering what other item would have mattered, though. Because if you look at the way the game's been going, is there really one other item that he could buy that's going to change the game in a big way? I'm kind of thinking the answer is no. Maybe like BKB or something, but that only lets him live. It doesn't let him do damage.
There's still a long way to go for him to really be impactful this game. Unfortunately, at this point, 25 minutes in. It's all nice Zaxa with the TP out. He's going to get away with it. They didn't have the Winter's Curse available again to stop that one. Pasha and Mag are around here towards the bottom. Pycat is going to drop back a defensive remnant and move forward with Nikwa. See if they can try and give it a go on Pasha, but this man's fairly tanky. Do they have the damage to deal with him? They're going to set it up with a nice length duration of the concoction. With the war cry out, I mean, Pasha's just going to walk this one off. They can't kill the Sven like that.
Yeah, the minus armor strategy with Alchemist is really good in a lot of cases, but the fact of the matter is Sven has one of the best on-demand armor abilities in the game, if not the best. Like in some situations, it's even better than Weave because it's immediate 20 armor. You know, you don't have to wait for it to tick up.
And there we have it. Well, Pycat did round and back. Vega grouping up towards the bottom and forcing it down, looking to try and take another tier 2. And in the mid lane, Max scouting things out here with this Invis rune. He's going to find himself Bambo. He's going to want to reveal himself unless the backup comes in from the rest of the side, who may very well force past this tier 2. Look to go for it here. Looks like they're going to go for the push and just take down the tower first. There's your blink 4 from Pasha. Oh, get out the Stormhammer. Bambo will force himself back up to the high ground, so nonetheless creating space here for Vega to find the tower. And there won't be any answer from 4 Clover yet.
I'm wondering if there's ever a point... Is there an item that's crucial enough on 4CL to where they could actually turn an engagement? I think the only thing is maybe Aghanims on Saxa. Like, that's an item that I could see, okay, maybe with an amazing full channel death ward, they could get a handful of kills. Vacuum's gonna miss here.
Saxa's gone for the TP and well, they haven't got anything to stop it, so we'll get away.
Yeah. But I really think that's the only item. Like, what else can anyone get that's gonna mean that much? I'm just trying to think of ways that 4CL could actually like bring themselves back in, right? Because when you're in this spot, you're pretty much relying on the enemy to make mistakes. And Vega had been playing extremely well. So relying on them to make a mistake is a bit far-fetched. So maybe the Alchemist gifts, the Witch Doctor and Ags, like YOLO, just all in.
I mean, looking at I mean, he's picking it up. He's got, what, coming up to 2k gold in there.
Well, he already bought a point booster, so I don't think he's going to actually gift him the Ags anymore. Okay. But I think that would maybe be one of the best chances.
I mean, what does Nico get then? Well, what is he going to get? Is he just going to get the AC next?
I honestly, like, if he buys BKB, they have no damage. If he buys AC, he still dies to magic. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Like, no one item is going to bring them back.
No, they're certainly going to need a few of them. at this position that Vega have pushed them into. And we talked about Vega's performance earlier, of course, against Empire. It's looking very strong, and again in this first game of the series, it's looking just as strong. These guys, they've certainly turned up, and they're on form today at this LAN on day one.
Again, I mean, Vega are one of the teams that a lot of people thought underperformed at the Major, and I agree. I think that they're actually a much better team than they let on in some of those games. And they're hungry, and they're showcasing it here. They're playing very disciplined. Like, they could easily go and try to pressure, but they're saying, you know what, we'll wait out next Roshan. We'll get AC done on Pasha. You know, we'll finish up farming another item on the Viper as well. And then we'll get the Aegis and then go again and not give them an opportunity to get back in the game. Because the best way to lose a game right now on this patch is to push too fast and try to break high ground when you're not actually ready. Now, granted, at this point, Vega have accrued over a 15,000 golden experience lead in a 29-minute game, which is insane. But even with that advantage, they're still not underestimating their opponents. They're not giving them the opportunity to get back.
Yeah, they're just suffocating them across the map, keeping all those lanes pushed in.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have a Night Stalker, right? Like, as soon as nighttime rolls around, and even if you want to be, even harsher about it and pop darkness, and you have even less vision, then it's really, really hard to do anything about it. But they've completely warded up top lane. They've warded up the bottom rune spot, so they can see pretty much everything that they want and realize when 4CL are outside of the base, and they can just go back up and pressure them and make them go back so they're not able to just freely farm.
I mean, Nikwa, he has now picked up a Sanj. I mean, is this just going to be a Heaven's Halberd coming out? Is it really an SNY out still at this point of the game, 30 minutes in? I mean, even the Halberd, there's a BKB, of course, done on Sven.
I mean, Halberd's not bad, but I think the normal build was SNY after this point. I don't know if he's just blindly following it or if he just wants to make a Halberd to stop the Viper or Sven from auto-attacking. Yeah. But the Sven already has BKB, so buying Halberd is not really that good. And it's a 10-second BKB at that.
Yeah, they both got BKB.
Which, yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense to buy Halberd. I think SNY is pretty much the item he's going for here. I mean, I guess in terms of cost efficiency, SNY is really good. It gives you a lot of stats. It gives you, I guess, what, like almost, no, it gives you 2.3 armor or something like that. Somewhere around those lines. But as we've already said, it's not really about that one item. It's more like, what 2 or 3 items can you get? Because it's gonna take more than one.
It's gonna take a lot. There it really is. And Vega just confidently going wherever they want to on the map.
Yeah, Roshan's gonna be up in like 15 seconds.
That's probably gonna be Vega's next point of call to go aggressive themselves. There's, as you said, just disciplined performance at the moment. Mag tries to find the vacuum onto Pycat. Maybe a bit off the mark here, and Pycat here with TP out in front of the Darks here. And yeah, Roshan's going to be pretty much the go-to here for Vega. As we've seen pretty much in all the series today, Aegis does win the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just, again, it's just slow, methodical play. Vega aren't taking any risks. Don't really blame them. Pushing high ground against Clockwork, Disruptor, Ember Spear, Wish Doctor. Like, there are chances to get caught out in a really bad position, especially given the fact that Bambo now has Force Staff. So if he gets like that really nice hook initiation, you force a hero forward into the base, you cog behind it so the enemy can't really follow up. That kind of defensive play can maybe win 4CL a fight, or at least force Vega back. But for now, Roshan is up. See if Vega want to go for it. I'm sure they will.
How's Solo doing towards that Aghanim? Zaggy's pretty much got it.
Yep.
He's just got to get that final 150 there for the bit of alacrity.
Now, once he has this, it becomes very difficult to try to split push or have wards or anything like that.
The butterfly now on this Viper.
Does the Wyvern have a gem, or is he going to save for one? Okay, he doesn't have one right now. I guess once the Aghanims is done, Shioma just saves a little bit of money, buys gem for solo, and then they just deward everything.
And here we go, Roshan, 4 clovers. Not going to be anywhere near contesting this one. Don't know what's happening. Bambo, he might go for a Bambo play here. He is smoked up and he does have a hook shot. I wouldn't put him past him. We've seen him do it before. It's Bambo. He's going to go for it. I mean, oh, we love you, Bambo. He's not going to get it, though. He's not going to get it at all. And Vega do take the kill on Roshan. They do get themselves the Aegis as well onto no one. So, I mean, we knew he was going to do it, Andy.
Yeah,
we knew he was going to do it.
You have to go for the play in this situation. That's the thing, right? Like, if you don't go for the play, you're basically just saying, Okay, well, we're gonna let them push into our base with an Aegis on one of their heroes, and in this case, it's just gonna be Viper. So Butterfly done on Viper, AC done on Pasha. This push, I don't think
you're
there's
not
any
stopping
this.
it.
Yeah, I really don't think they can stop it.
There we go. Straight down the mid, no one up to the high ground. I'll the tier 3 and see what they can do. Nikwa has got that S and Y. I don't think it's going to be the item really to turn this around for 4 Clovers. As that's the tower gone, no one just continues to sit there. They're throwing everything at him, 4 Clovers, but this Viper really does not care at this point. He just BKBs up and moves in. Nikwa's going to stun himself, and Edge could be the dead off this Alchemist. It's a nice shot from Bambo, but the vacuum walls come out. Salic still wants to know one, but he's got the BKB, doesn't care. Bambo will go down. There'll be a buyback from Nikwa. Bambo does not have the funds for this buyback. Dead for 50 seconds. Glimpse back onto Shoma, but he gets out the cold embrace. They just don't have the magical damage to go through it. He'll walk himself off. The Deadpool doing a fair bit, but he glimmer capes himself up. Winter Wyvern's fine. The Racks, on the other hand, for 4 Clovers are not. As they'll get totally cleared out in the mid lane as that's the first set of Racks down. Nikwa trying to go in, but the glimmer cape and the corner bracer there. He stuns himself, but this is a dieback. Nikwa's now down for 70 seconds. The Witch Doctor's down for 50. And Pycat, he just waltzes himself away here. And he may even be in trouble. So they're trying to move in. GG's called. 27-5. Vega, they had a very nice game against Empire in the first best of 1 and this best of 3. The first matchup, 27-5 against 4 Clovers.
Yeah.
A very convincing performance.
Well, I think Peter summed it up pretty nicely. He said, what can 4CL do before the mech timing and the 5-man comes out from Vega? And I guess the answer was they didn't really get a whole lot. I think maybe picking Alchemist was, in hindsight, not really the best, because